The Spanish Announce Table.
It is episode 374 of the Spanish Announce Table. We're going to talk about AEW Revolution a lot tonight. We're going to make some predictions. We're going to preview that card. But of course, so much else happened in pro wrestling that we'll have to talk about via the news and the most interactive segment in wrestling radio, hashtag Tweet the Table. But all of that to come after, of course, we check in with Tom. Tom, what's new? How's Tom?
Hey, man, things are moving and shaking, and we got things just going at a breakneck speed. I started a new job. Now I'm going to be in a different role. I'm going to have to sell myself a little bit. So here comes the first little bypass of that. Quick little drive-by. I now am a salesperson for a company called Kicksite. Kicksite, right there. And what we do is we sell software to mixed martial arts companies and also pro wrestling gyms. So if you train at a pro wrestling gym, or if you train at a mixed martial arts facility, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Taekwondo, karate, boxing, all of the things, hit me up. I bet you we can take your company, your gym, to the next level. So there you go. Thomas at kicksite.net.
You know what?
And check me out. Check me out on Facebook, Thomas_Kicksite, and Instagram, Thomas_Kicksite. There you go.
Tom, I train at the dojo of whiskey and hard knocks. Can you help us out?
Yeah. Do you have attendance? Do you want to track that? Do you want to track how to collect money from your students? Then call me. I can help. Nice.
Look at that. Tom venturing into new territories, experiencing new things, betting on himself even, and
I'm scared.
Couldn't think of who else to bet on, right?
Exactly. Right here.
Right. Yep. Bet on this guy. So, man, what a week of pro wrestling. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, but there's some big news items that we're going to get into, right? We like to cover some of the hottest news items of the week to keep you up to speed on what's going on, right? And, you know, there's a lot going on.
Is there?
There's a lot going on. Well, I've got 4 stories, but there's some big stories going on. Yeah? You ready for this, Tom?
Interesting. Yeah, because I don't think there is.
All right. Well, there's one that I'm sure you're aware of. Here we go. Tony Khan announced that he has officially purchased Ring of Honor this week, including all of ROH's assets and video content library. Yeah. Khan, now owning Ring of Honor, provides him a lot more content to feature on the rumored streaming deal with HBO Max that is yet to be confirmed. Of note, the Ring of Honor footage library, now owned by Khan, includes 2018's Allin pay-per-view, which was in essence a test run event for All Elite Wrestling.
So Allin is All Elite now.
All In is All Elite. Ring of Honor is All Elite.
Yeah,
it's gonna make that Impact Honor No More stable be a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, Honor No More.
Hey, look, here's the interesting thing though, is because of the news of Ring of Honor saying everyone's out of their contract, now Tony Khan is really in a state of pick and choose, where if he doesn't like Mike Bennett for whatever, I don't say he does or doesn't. I'm just saying that's the example. He doesn't need to bring him in. But a guy like Dak Draper, who was in Ring of Honor, he could be now be brought into this promotion. Yes, this was the big news story. I thought we were going to cover this more when we're talking about Dynamite. But so that's why my mind didn't go to it. Mm-hmm. So yes, this is the biggest news story. Here's the rumor, though. Here's the conspiracy theory, and I want your feedback on this. Is this the make good, hey, sorry, Cody, we couldn't come to terms because you're not cool enough to be in AEW. Why don't you take over Ring of Honor? You think Cody is going to be the day-to-day operations guy for Ring of Honor? Because Tony Khan, look, is already maxed out. You can tell by just the pacing of the show and the schizophrenia of the storylines that, like, AEW, he's maxed out. So to then add on Ring of Honor, I don't know if he could do it.
I hadn't even considered Ring of Honor. Albeit, I'm gonna venture that if the AEW crowd wasn't taken to Cody and his personality, I'm not sure the Ring of Honor crowd is going to either.
But if he comes in as the savior of pure wrestling, I mean, there's a crowd for that.
But I think they may think like, you ain't it, motherfucker. Like, you are not the savior. Yeah, I had not considered Cody Rhodes in this at all. I had considered the idea of like, oh, well, him now signing anybody and everybody makes a little more sense if he kind of had this thought process and plan. albeit, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like he's flying by the seat of his pants, if you will.
Well, that announcement, huh? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that announcement for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine Tony Khan over here, just kind of in and out. Now, I will say this. I think he is naturally awkward and maybe a little bit shy. So to put him for the first time on Dynamite in front of a live crowd was probably difficult for him. So there was going to be a little bit of awkwardness, but the speed of which he talked and stopped and talked and stopped, that's where it was like, you doing okay, pal? You good? Because didn't seem like you're good. But again, give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll see how he does if he ever shows up again on Dynamite. But yeah, I think that's my conspiracy theory. I think we're going to see Cody and Brandy taking over Ring of Honor. Now,
for season 3 of Road to the Top.
Exactly, yeah. Because that show's got to come, somewhere. Now, here's the thing, though. So let's say you're Tony Khan. What is your approach with Ring of Honor? Are you going to use Ring of Honor like NXT? Or are you going to say, like, this is just SmackDown and we're Raw?
I mean, I think you're probably... I don't think you've got SmackDown versus Raw. I don't know. I don't get the feel from that. I would think it's more like an NXT, but not the idea of, like, NXT, we're going to train them how we do it. It's just like, hey, here's another thing for... Man, I can't get you on the show right now, but we've got this other show over here that, you know what I mean? 100,000 people watch or whatever, right?
Well, and that's the other thing, as we kind of dive into this story a little bit more, is TNT, or Turner, I should say, Turner Broadcasting seems to be over the moon with All Elite Wrestling. You think they say, hey, let's add this other show that you just bought, and we can put that on, Tuesday nights or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe. I do think, I don't know. So Sinclair Broadcasting owned it when they sold it. So now, that deal's probably just gone. But would they be like, hey, we still want wrestling content?
That's true.
Maybe it's just cheaper for us to buy it from you directly.
Ooh, so where then they stay on Sinclair, but it's owned by Tony Khan?
Yeah. We're going to find out a lot more. Like, that's the interesting thing is this is a bit unprecedented. Right? We've seen McMahon buy defunct wrestling organizations, but here we had this one that's like, hey, we're just going to go away for a while. We're going to reform. Meanwhile, the whole time they're like, apparently they reached out to WWE as well. And, you know what I mean? Who knows whether they said no, offered an insulting fit. Who knows, right? Who knows what happened there? But interesting. We've never seen the number 2 buy up a company.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen Anthem come in and buy a company. We've seen things like that. Sinclair buy a company.
Well, yeah, going back to the Attitude Era when they were all thriving, it was WWE who bought ECW while WCW was still kind of struggling. It wasn't WCW buying ECW and then let's team up to then take on WWE. Yeah, so this is different. It's going to be interesting. A lot of moving parts. We're going to see. It's going to be fun. A lot of moving parts.
It's going to be fun. It is going to be fun, but we'll move on to the next thing here. There's so much more to follow on that. Police arrested former UFC champion and professional wrestler Cain Velasquez on first-degree attempted murder charges this week, along with several counts of assault with a deadly weapon and shooting an occupied motor vehicle. According to online reports, Velasquez followed a man and some of his family members in his F-250 truck, rammed the truck into the car the victims were traveling in, and then fired multiple shots into the vehicle and fled the scene. The man Velasquez was reportedly after was arrested a week prior for molesting a close relative of Velasquez's family and was recently released from jail and put on supervised release, being charged with 1 felony count of lewd and lascivious acts. Wow. Didn't see this one coming.
Well, yeah, and so to give you the MMA perspective, because yes, he was wrestling in WWE for a short period of time. He's had a couple matches in AAA.
More known for his UFC.
More known for being one of the greatest heavyweights in UFC history. A lot of potential too, because injury kind of cut his career short. Think of more like of a Bo Jackson, right? Where Bo Jackson's not going to make the top 50 of any baseball list or football list, but always
had he
thought
played his whole time.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Might still be going now.
Right. So think of that as Cain Velasquez, right? Mm-hmm. That's a similar comparison.
Okay.
Here's the other thing.
The man beat up Brock Lesnar. To do that, you've got to have some badassery to you.
Oh, he beat up a lot of people. So to give you a little bit perspective of who the person is, though, is he was not this troubled fighter like the Diaz brothers, or someone that like had to fight his way out because, you know, society just didn't understand he was. He just enjoyed the competition of fighting and said like, well, my other friends are doing it, so I'll give this a shot too. And then became just this phenom, right? He is a very nice and kind-hearted person, well respected throughout the entire circles of MMA. Even his opponents right now are coming out. Junior Dos Santos, one of his greatest rivals, came out in support of Cain Velasquez. With all that being said, though, I will say this. Look, again, the other rumor is that close relative was actually his child. That hasn't been confirmed. So you can understand why his anger was at that level, right? This is my only thing that I'm going to say. Is you can't shoot at a vehicle with multiple people in there. And the other thing is, like, he didn't hit the right person. The guy that he didn't hit that guy. So like, you can't really say he didn't do anything wrong.
I will say I understand the feelings of vigilante justice. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Totally get it, especially if it's as close as possible, you know?
Yeah.
I can't say that I wouldn't attempt similar acts. Like, who knows, right? We don't know until we're in those moments.
Right.
What I think comes with the territory when you engage in acts of vigilante justice are you might wind up in jail. It's not justifiable in the eyes of the law in most cases. So a lot of us can say like, oh, I take that, right? I understand that. Well,
he did it.
Well, then okay, but he did it.
Right.
And I mean, whether he knew that was going to happen or not, or thought I'll get out of it or not, you know, who the hell knows? But I obviously feel empathy, but I want to say like I don't feel empathy, which is weird because I do. But like I'm not like shocked where I'm like, how dare you even draw this guy in? Like he clearly did okay. Well, again, I don't even think the person's been fully convicted of the act. Now, I don't know how much Cain Velasquez knows if this person did or did not or whatever, right? So, man, what a fucked up situation.
Well, here's the thing that I think is the most interesting, at least to me, is if I was that person, even if I was in that vehicle, the gun is the second most scariest thing in that situation. Yeah. I would hope for the gun to take out the sweet release really quick.
Probably still alive because it was a gun and not Velasquez going all ham in on him, right?
Because Cain is going to make you suffer, and then you are probably going to die. Like, Cain Velasquez is the scariest part of that situation, truck included. And so it's like, thank God you only got shot, because if you would have got out, you would have been fucked, pal. Like,
yeah. Interesting story. We'll move on. Vince McMahon will induct The Undertaker into the WWE Hall of Fame at this year's annual WrestleMania Week ceremony, according to McMahon himself during an interview today on the Pat McAfee Show. No other inductees have been announced for this year's induction ceremony as of this time. Well, I think we asked that question, who would induct him? And I guess sense. That one makes sense because who else is going to have that stature? We argued The Undertaker is that guy above everyone else as the locker room leader. Well, then who the hell could it be?
Yeah, I mean, if Paul Bearer was still alive, I think that would have been the most logical choice. But
Cain isn't in a position to do that, even though they were closely tied. And his current
this week, he got drugged through the mud with some of his hot takes. So yeah. We love Hangman.
God bless Hangman. All right,
yeah, God bless Hangman. But yeah, so here's the thing, because I think so. Vince is inducting Undertaker. Is the only other person Stone Cold and then Trump? Those are the only two, right?
What, that had Vince induct him?
Right. Those are the only two?
Who inducted Hogan?
It was the celebrity. It was Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, yeah.
What
the fuck was that about?
Well, because that launched his career because of Thunder Lips, and then he got back in the WWE. I mean, he got back in the WWE.
You could argue Mr. T maybe, but then you ain't doing Mr. T.
Right, yeah. So here's where I think people are interested, but I'm just checking out, is will we see the real Vince McMahon? Because if you go back to the Last Ride documentary, there was a couple different moments where Vince asked to cut because he was about to cry. But like, okay, I'm not going to cry. I don't know. I'm checked out, and maybe this is me, but after he did his tell-all interviews with 65 different personalities across, different platforms, I don't really care to hear anything he has to say. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not worthy of induction. Of course, he should be in the Hall of Fame more than anyone probably ever, right? But as far as like the process and like the ceremony, miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah, and I'll try to avoid rehashing everything we said last episode, but we did catch, some comments on this, and we liked the comments and all that.
For sure.
And it was not bad. But what you're saying here is, I believe, 100% true. Yes, he's 100% deserving, and there's no doubt he should be the only. We've not even said not only the headliner. You could get by with saying only Undertaker this year, and nobody's going to bitch about it. I don't think anybody's going to bitch about it that's not being irrational. Great. What we're saying is, much like the rest of WWE content right now, why the fuck do you guys care to listen to these speeches that you undoubtedly have heard, as Tom said, 65 times now?
Yeah.
Yes, there may be another story, but it's going to be the same, like, we did this, and then we did that, and then we did this, and it won't be like how I reacted won't be different than how I reacted in the other ones. So to me, it's like, I'm not going to go out of my way to spend 2 hours of watching this for, you know what I mean? For nothing.
There's not going to be a revelation that it was actually Linda McMahon who wrote Undertaker's storylines. You know what I mean? Like, there's not any of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
there's not going to be any of that. And the Vince aspect of it. The next news story, we're even going to talk about Vince McMahon. And the reason I don't care is the sight of Vince McMahon crying to me doesn't, like, I don't care to humanize this guy anymore. If I'm being frank, like, I think we need to come to terms, a lot of people, and a lot of people have tried to say this over the years and have, like, he's kind of a piece of shit human being. Like, significant, right? Like, not well, right? He's not well. He needed a lot of therapy that he never got. And, like, I don't care, honestly, like, what he has to say, other than, like, it'll be like, oh, interesting. I don't think we ever would have heard him say anything. Like, that's the only thing. And to me, that's just not enough to, like, pull up the peacock and sit there and carve out time of my day.
Yeah, the only interesting aspect for me, for Vince McMahon, is to get his perspective on his product. I don't care to hear anymore about his thoughts when we do a monologue on a superstar, right? When we say, we're going to hear from Vince McMahon on his thoughts on The Rock. We kind of know what he's going to fucking say, right? But like, I want to hear, the only thing that, again, that I feel that is interesting about Vince McMahon at this point in his career is saying, like, what's your favorite storyline? Who was your superstar that, you had the most fun working with? What was the storyline that you struggled with the most? Like, those are the things. But like, for him to just talk about another person, yeah, he said everything already. And he's probably going to call him Mark all night and say that Mark is a good family man and a close friend, and he's gonna get teared up because he didn't leave for WCW.
We might get some story about, like, what drove the like, how they stumbled upon the character when they were writing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and then they saw this guy, like, and they were like, he's the guy. Right?
Yeah. It's just, I am fine.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Hey, in the chats in the YouTube live stream right now, by the way, we are live. If you're listening on the podcast later or watching this video, you can join us live Thursday nights. Katie First, the lady, says, hey, nice to talk about another dull week in wrestling. All seriousness, cannot wait for Revolution Sunday. I Spy More Blood, and we are so excited for Revolution. We're going to get into that. Man, we got some preview coming up.
There was one promotion that was dull, but last night, I can't wait to talk about that CM Punk MJF segment. Woo! Anyhow, what we got rest of the news?
That was good stuff. Yeah. All right, let's get into our final news story, and then we can start getting into some of the other stuff here.
Yeah.
WWE terminated its partnership with Russian broadcaster Match and shut down WWE Network in Russia, effective immediately, according to a press release from the company, which states, quote, "The move eliminates access in Russia to any WWE programming, including the company's weekly Raw, SmackDown, and NXT shows, its on-demand library, and all of its premium live events, including WrestleMania 38, end quote. Nations and corporations around the world have been severing ties with Russia over the last week following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And
Yeah, screw you, Putin. You don't get to watch Raw this Monday.
Russia keeps benefiting more from this war every fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, that move is only like the only people not benefit, or the only people that are affected by that are the common citizens who just like your product.
Yeah. First of all, the soldiers probably ain't got time to be pulling up fucking old Peacock or whatever it is over there, right?
Yeah.
And so, but I do get that that's some of the ideas. You're trying to force public pressure the other way and that kind of thing. So great, right? Yeah. Everybody do it all at once. Great, whatever. I understand what you're doing. But like, you motherfuckers just did a pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia. Like, so, man. Like, and here's where I was brought up Vince McMahon earlier. You,
go at it.
Vince McMahon, and your fucking wife participated in the guy who we had to fucking impeach over trying to do shit to weaken the goddamn ability for them to defend themselves. You're the fucking problem in some of this as well. And so, like, miss me with that now. You stand in solidarity? Like, I don't fucking believe any of it. I try to separate as much as I can, the company being like all these people that work at WWE and make some decisions against Vince McMahon. But I'm to believe from everything we've heard, you can't separate those two because it's everything Vince McMahon wants. And he wanted that shit then. And so, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's going to be, to your point, 2 points there. One, yeah, he was politically, he was a huge contributor to the last administration and what they were trying to do alongside of this country of Russia. And then two, yeah, you were fine with Saudi Arabia trying to sports wash its fucking reputation to the world, and you're co-signing on that. So like, oh, but this is where we take the stand. And then the third point is, again, Putin's not suffering from not having WWE on the television, right? It's only the little kid who's 12 years old who loves to watch Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown and can't because now you've pulled the plug for that 12-year-old. Like, it's just stupid. It's again, a hollow move made by a hollow company with hollow morals and a crazy man at the top that just needs to retire. I'm not saying anything else, but he just needs to retire. So,
Yeah. Well, here, let's do this. We might have to take a break and re-sign in, apparently. Yeah, we'll figure it out as we come. Yeah, I just got a message saying the old Zoom is going to time out. I didn't know that was a thing. But let's get into the tweet the tables and get you rolling on that, and I'll try to work on the back end on that.
All right, let's hear it. Let's see.
All right, so let's get into the first tweet table. By the way, use hashtag tweet table on Twitter, and we'll read some of your tweets right here on the show. Just like at Theo75, he says, that is epic news that AEW bought Ring of Honor. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Hashtag tweet the table. What do you think, Tom?
Well, I think the most interesting thing for me as a viewer is going to be that this potential rumor deal with HBO Max, you're going to essentially turn HBO Max and have a tab into the network, right? On WWE, they have the network of content from WCW, ECW, NWA, obviously all the WWE stuff, and AEW is not going to compete with that right from the jump, but to add a company that has 20 plus years, it feels like, of content, plus your own of the last 3, and growing more and more as you continue to grow your company. I think that's an amazing feather in the cap for HBO and Turner to say, like, here we go. We don't have, the historical legacy of WWE, but we got, 100 hours or, let's say 75 hours worth of content of pro wrestling. Don't you want to check it out? And you're going to have people who are like me that says, yeah, bye Peacock. Hey, HBO Max, I hear you guys have AEW and ROH. Oh, by the way, you also have The Sopranos? Well, this is fun. I'm on this app now all the time, right? So that's going to be the part that I think is interesting. Also, along with that, and we don't know the details, but what will this look like? What will this partnership look like? Are we going to have Matt Hardy, who maybe get phased out of AEW, but then it's Matt and Jeff takes on the Briscoe brothers at the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view, right? Or do we see maybe Jonathan Gresham go from Ring of Honor up to AEW, and that's a trade because then we're going to bring Miro down to Ring of Honor, and all these moving things. That's fascinating to me. That's why this is going to be so much fun to just view, sit back and say, all right, let's see it. Because again, we kind of know what WWE does. It says, here's the content. We're not talking about it. Bye-bye. Move on. Go watch Roman Reigns. With this, we don't know. Tony Khan could just infuse everything, and there could be a Ring of Honor takeover that's way cooler than what the WCW ECW takeover looked like. So who knows? But I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We dug into that one a whole bunch, so let me just try to move on to the next one here.
All right.
At Devil Vamp says, Bryan Danielson transitioning into multiple moves mid-flip, mid-hip toss is just beautiful. Hashtag tweet the table. Also, he's just a fucking psychopath. He wants to not only hurt himself, but other people. It's perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Bryan Danielson's current, just whole demeanor. Love it all.
Can I tell you a fun fact or a fun observation I think I'm having with Bryan Danielson? I don't think this part of the character is an act. Mm-hmm. I think he is an asshole. Yeah. I think he is kind of a jerk know-it-all where he's not going to macho you and puff out his chest and say, ha, 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 I'm better than you. But he is going to do things where it's question your manhood or question your confidence in yourself. And then you're going to look at him in a different light. And that's kind of what he's doing right now, right? There's not a lot of heel things he's doing. Now, I know he kicked in Christopher Daniels' head in after the match, which that's definitely a heel move. But before that, it's just, flexing while he does a triangle and Lee Moriarty is passed out, those kind of things where that's not the worst thing in the world, but you definitely don't like it. And I think that is him. I don't know if he's being told, hey, heal it up out there. I think they may be just saying, hey, Bryan, be yourself, pal. And so I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see how this character evolves, especially after Sunday night with Jon Moxley. So we shall see.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I think he's great, and I want more of it. But on the Revolution train, still, we're going to at Katie First Lady says, I think Adam is going to win Sunday. Hashtag AEW Revolution. Hashtag tweet the table. I see what you did there.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, and this thing's got me a little excited. Albeit, I wish we would have got more storyline in it.
Well, here's where I wish we got more bang for your buck, I guess you could say, is looking at Adam Cole. I know on paper he is undefeated, right? Undefeated Adam Cole is, tearing up the rankings and he's shooting up to number one status in a heartbeat. However, his two feuds, one with Jungle Boy and two with Orange Cassidy, he lost both of those, right? Mm-hmm. The trios tag match, he got his head bashed in by Jungle Boy and the Concerto. And then Orange Cassidy, even though it didn't count on the record, it was a lights out match that he lost. And so now we're saying, but Adam Cole could beat Hangman. And I just, no, he couldn't. There's other people that could. Jon Moxley, I think, could. Kenny Omega might come back and he could. But Adam Cole, his two feuds in this short period of time, he's come out a loser. So I think, not to hedge my bets here a little bit, but I don't think that's the Adam that's coming out on top.
I think you might not be wrong there. And, I don't know. The Adam Page thing, I think, has left us hanging a little bit. You know what I mean?
The Adam Page? You don't think Adam Page is doing well?
I mean, I don't think they've given us much to bite into.
Well, they haven't given him much time. I think that's been another criticism of ours is he's doing good work in these short windows of 3 minutes. And again, no disrespect to the CM Punk and MJF feud, but they're getting 20, 15 minutes a pop where our champion is having to, do a whole advancement of 3 weeks of storyline in a vignette backstage where he's talking about, the Murder Hawk monster. So I think given more time to your champion who should be the number one guy in your promotion, that should be the focus. It doesn't seem like it's going to be. So as this being the main event, it doesn't really feel like the main event. I think there's other matches that have a bigger fight feel because of the attention that they're getting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 1 second here. Still trying to get us squared away here to keep us going, to keep us live on air. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Let's just move into the next one. If you lose us, stay with us for a second. We'll be back on shortly, but we'll keep going here. At Devil Vamp says, this is what we do to TBar. I loved Dijakovic, and he has become a stepping stone for this giant goober. Who gives a fuck? Hashtag tweet the table. And yeah, they had Dijakovic, TBar take on Amos and get squashed. And I mean, I'm a fan of Amos, but man, you're right. Like, everything about, T-Bar and Dijakovic is just lost now to just he's a massive guy. Should out-presence everybody, but yet now I am squashed almost.
We're still calling him T-Bar?
Yeah.
There's no one in that company that's still in Retribution, right? They're all gone.
Right.
Mia Yim's gone. Shane Thorne's gone. I know Ali's not gone, but he wants to be gone. And so, why are we hanging on to the T-Bar? Whatever happened to the other guy, though? Is the other guy still in WWE?
I don't know if he's still there either. Yeah, I don't know.
But, so why are we holding on to the name T-Bar?
Almost, I think, has a great future because he seems to be getting it and picking up and improving. But I don't get that, they know what to do with that anymore other than make him the great Khali after a while. And case in point with, T-Bar. He's a guy who has, all the size and stuff. I don't think he has the most charisma. And that maybe a guy like Almost has a little more charisma than, say, a guy like T-Bar, but still.
Well, and here's the thing that made me... So you mentioned how Almost, what can we do with them? Maybe it'll be the Great Khali thing. But we ruin that every single time. And this is why we ruin it. Because if you don't turn that monster into the champion, then you put him down in the card and he's like anyone else. In AEW, they even have another example with Lance Archer, right? He goes, he tears through everyone dies, but then he gets choked out by Jon Moxley for the championship. Then he kind of goes down the card, but then he goes through everyone else, and then it's for the first TNT championship, and he loses to Cody, and so if you're gonna have the monster unleashed, and I know we're going on a tangent a little bit about Amos, but I think it applies to all big men because I'm worried about Wardlow. You've got to put that rocket all the way to the top. That's the only payoff. Because, the only company that I feel has ever done this right was the first run of Goldberg. If Goldberg would have lost to Hulk Hogan, then he's just like anyone else. He's just like Scott Norton or any other big guy. He wasn't even
Hogan. Well, I almost hasn't lost anybody yet. So, I mean, well.
But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, if you get him all the way to Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley gets him with the Hurt Lock.
Brock.
Right. Then he just becomes another Big E or another, big guy on the roster that just doesn't do much. You have to send that person to the championship and winning the championship to get the payoff of all this stuff, or else it's all for nothing. So Wardlow, you better beat fucking MJF when the time comes. Homie.
All right. Well, that was Tweet the Table and a technical difficulty hiccup, but, we're here. So join us next week. Use hashtag Tweet the Table throughout the week, and we'll read them right here on the show. We'll talk about what you want to talk about before we get into what we want to talk about. And what we want to talk about is this AEW Revolution card coming up on Sunday and Dynamite that happened this week and Rampage and all that shit was great. And we've talked. They have some dips, right? We're not like homers to the point we say everything they do is amazing. But man, they are on an upswing right now. They are hitting on all cylinders, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that you can nitpick and say like, so what happened to Lance Archer? He challenges for the championship and then isn't seen again. Hey, I understand that in legit, pro wrestling world, Miro's hurt, but he can't do a promo. He just goes away. What the hell's with that? We signed Jay Lethal, and he's had how many matches since signing? So yes, there's plenty you could point out. However, just even if you want to yourself, if you're listening to the podcast, pull up the card and just look at this embarrassment of riches with Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Hangman versus Adam Cole, a triple threat tag team match with the Young Bucks, Red Wagon, and Jurassic Express, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa 2. I mean, all of these are main events, honestly. You could put any of those matches I said, and that could main event the next pay-per-view, and it's all on one. I
can't wait to start talking about the show, because even the 2 matches on the pre-show got me a little geeked. I'm excited.
Yes! It's Hook!
It's Hook against our good buddy Cutie Marshall, which, god damn it, we keep forgetting. He's begging to be on the show, and we keep forgetting to pull him up. Are you just ready to start, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Cutie. Beat Hook, you can get on the show. How about that?
Let's talk about that one. Hook with ease, right?
I love Hook. We're going to look back at this pay-per-view and just be like, are you serious? At one time, we had Hook on the pre-show of the same card that still had CM Punk and MJF and Bryan Danielson. Like, what? This company is bonkers with the talent level and the future stars coming down the pipeline, Sammy Guevara is still hanging out in that upper mid card. He's going to eventually take off. Darby Allin's eventually going to take off. And it's all right here. Oh, it's incredible. Incredible. But yeah, I got Hook. By the way, for my anniversary, as a gift from my wife, I got a Hook shirt. And so what that means now, because of how old I am, I have a father-son combination t-shirts in my closet with Taz and Hook.
Yes.
I am old.
Welcome to the club, man.
Oh man, it felt weird knowing that I had both the father and son authentic t-shirts, but
you need to
it is what it is.
Hold them both up and get.
I am. Yeah, I am.
Get them on. Get them to retweet you. Yeah, it's Hook, right? Hook does the walkover, does everything on Cutie. We get Cutie selling like $1 million, right?
But do we get Cutie to actually put Hook in any type of danger? That's the question, I think. Is it
I don't
just
think
a
Cutie's
straight
the guy?
No?
I think they recognize that Hook is a crowd favorite and poised to, if they do it right. And I think Taz is the guy who's going to be back there being like, don't fuck this up. And Tony Khan's going to be like, yeah, you're probably right. And you know what I mean? Like, it's Cutie, right? Like, Cutie's not damaged at all by taking a beat down here. At all. But Hook is.
Yes. The only thing that I would say, and the trope that needs to die yesterday, is if Cutie gets an advantage by doing a low blow, that's gonna ruin it for me almost. Because it's like, not everyone can get hit in the dick. Like,
everyone can get hit in the dick with these hands.
We did that twice last night. We did that twice with Darius from Top Flight.
Yep.
And then CM Punk from MJF. And so, and then Brock Lesnar, the week before or whatever. So it's like, stop it with the low blow. It hurts. We all know. But like, poke the eye. That hurts too, Like, and you can't, you could wear glasses, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it's a little bit easier to be like, oh man, he didn't wear eye protection. Well, you should be wearing a cup. Watch professional sports. They all wear fucking cups. Idiot.
Love it.
Actually, I never did. That's a fun fact. I never wore a cup before.
I never did anything.
Nothing in boxing. Nothing
balls
in
of steel.
Or they're just hard to hit. You know what I'm saying? Hey!
They're rusty. All right. The other match on the pre-show, Chris Statlander versus Layla Hirsch. And man, I think Hirsch is going to come away with this one.
Well, isn't this weird that the narrative has changed based off of one kind of poorly said line from Chris Statlander? Like, I know what she was trying to say, like, you're a miserable person, but no one should say, like, oh, if you were this way as a kid, now I get it why your parents gave you up for adoption. Like, that's a heel.
That's the heel thing to say. And Statlander is an athlete, right? You can tell that.
Oh, she's awesome in the ring.
Also, I just don't think it's connecting all that much, right? I think
the only thing to get weirder.
Yeah, the only connection is that by proxy she's connected to the best friends, and they're not going to get involved in this. And I just think I think we're going to come away with Hirsch getting the victory out, like doing something brutal and ruthless, and then everybody's going to be like, "Oh shit, here's a legit contender."
Yeah, I think Chris Statlander might elevate the match, right? She might be the first one to do a power bomb off the top rope or whatever it is, right? But then I think it's
Charlotte
legit
Flair
Layla Hirsch.
Backflip off the top rope that she doesn't have a fucking match, and we're supposed to ooh and ah every time.
Yeah, and she misses it most of the time too. Anyhow, but I think legit Layla Hirsch is going to be the one that's like,
can we talk about that though too? Though I still blame the person taking that for the miss, because you have time to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, get in the way.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, but again,
once
if
she
the
left,
person,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, but if the person's 6 feet to the right, then you're like, well, what the fuck?
It would look like Evil Uno running to the post.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't do that. Yeah. But yes, if you can take
you
a
act like
step
you're trying to
right,
catch, and then you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that. But I got Layla Hirsch with this. And to your point about Chris Statlander not really connecting with the audience, I think she's kind of a WWE character where, okay, she's an alien and she boops you, but you just keep telling me that. I actually have not seen any fucking alien part of her, you know? Like with Luchasaurus, he's a dinosaur 24/7. Like, I get it. That's the gimmick. He's seeing it. He is it, right? He says he's 65,000 years old or whatever it is. But with Chris Statlander, it's just, oh, you painted half your face tonight? Okay, alien. You know, you got to turn that up for me. Be weird. That's what I want.
Yeah. Yes, more weirdness. More weirdness. All right. On to the regular show. AEW Revolution.
The pay-per-view.
Now, I'm just reading this off of culturedvultures.com.
Ooh, that's a fun one. Okay.
I will say this, unless somebody can clue me in, AEW, like, you can find on the events link, you can find that's a pay-per-view and how you get tickets and where to watch it, but they don't really break down the card, right?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Not a good
content. They're like, we don't care. Just give us money.
Yeah. WWE does great about that. Like, you can click any individual match. There's a graphic for it. You can kind of they'll break down what's happened. Now, like, WWE is a media machine. We understand that, but there's an improvement.
Still right.
AEW can make.
You can definitely hire a writer.
So, if any of this is wrong, blame it on the cultured vultures here.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. All right. TBS Championship. Jade Cargill, Ty Conti. I don't think we're getting Jade Cargill losing here and new champ, but I think we're going to get first serious thought of that, right? Like, first serious bout, if you will, that like went the distance where you're like, oh shit, she might fucking lose this.
Hold on, let me look this up, because I thought this was the line of the night from Dynamite, where Tay Conti's doing her interview and Jade Cargill goes, bitch, shut up before I kick you in the head again, or something like that.
Like
it was
that,
she just had the confidence and swagger where this wasn't rehearsed. This is how I feel. Your black belt doesn't mean shit on this side. I'm going to mess you up.
Oh, yeah. She said, ain't nobody care about none of that karate bullshit or whatever she said.
It was the best. I thought it was so great. Here,
well, it's so real, too. Like, that's, you can picture that if you've ever seen a fight between two ladies, right? Where one's like, nobody give a fuck about, you know what I mean? Like, miss me with that. Nobody cares.
Yeah, she said, quote, bitch, shut up before I kick you in the face. No one gives a damn about that karate shit.
See, that's what we don't get that on WWE. That wouldn't cut through a writing room floor.
Oh,
Right? You get what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't go through the writing room floor. But here, they let them kind of say some shit. You know what I mean?
And it's also the arrogance because she doesn't do karate. It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's karate shit. You fucking, nobody cares about that.
That's
whatever you call it.
Funny about it.
It's all karate. You guys are just fucking... They're just trying to fucking make it more important. You know what I mean?
I know.
You guys are just trying to inflate it. It's all karate.
I love that. That made me laugh so hard.
It's such an American thing to say, too. Right? It's like, that karate. It's like, it's not karate. Be like, yeah, it is. It's all fucking
whatever.
Karate.
Whatever, you German. I'm Austrian.
You dress up in a robe and fucking chop people. It's karate, motherfucker. All right. So, Cargill wins.
So I got, Jay Cargill.
All right. Here we go with Matt Hardy, Andrade El Idolo, and Isiah Cassidy versus Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara in the match I probably am least looking forward to. It has the least amount of like storylines. I know there's a story with like Matt Hardy and Andre Idolo, but like this is weird.
That's not the part that I'm actually having any beef with. It's on the other side because I don't read spoilers for Dynamite, so I don't know what happens tomorrow night. Again, we record on a Thursday night if you're listening to this letter. Yeah. Or, excuse me, Rampage. I don't read Rampage spoilers, so I don't know what's going to happen. But tomorrow on Rampage for the TNT Championship is Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, whatever happens from that match, then they're like, but we're teammates.
So that's it. So this is how I feel like it, depending on what happens on Rampage, is how I would pick this. Now I don't have that benefit here, but like if there's a battle between Sammy and Darby and things get testy, and let's say Darby wins and Sammy's like, fuck you, nut punch, right? And then Sting's like, what are you doing? And then he's like, F you too, Sting. And maybe we get Sting versus, Sammy or whatever. We think the fucking TNT Championship's on the line or whatever. But like, I don't know that they're going to go that route. I feel like this is just the crowd gets to cheer
Sting.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Darby, Sting, and Sammy win.
Yeah.
But caveat of like, after Rampage, I might have changed my mind.
But it just feels like the matches should be in reverse, right? It feels like on Rampage, you could do the 6-man tag, and then, by the way, on Sunday night, it's going to be Sammy versus Darby for the TNT Championship.
Yeah. Because
it just doesn't make sense.
I promise you guys. Nobody is purchasing this pay-per-view because they want to see Matt Hardy in this triple threat match, or they want to see Andrade El Idolo, or even Isiah Cassidy, right? Some people might purchase it for Sting. Some people might be a huge Darby Allin fan. I'm getting it. But I'm going to tell you, probably they're not even buying it for Sammy Guevara.
Not yet.
But most specifically, like Matt Hardy and Andrade and Isiah. So, like, you could have nixed all of those three out of it and just kept the Darby, Sting, and Sammy involved. And I know we've done that, but...
It just feels like, if you were watching this at a friend's house, right? It's like a little small party for AEW Revolution.
So I'm at your house.
This is the part of the show though where everyone's getting up to get more chips or get something to drink. No one's like, wait, guys, this is the match. And again, not every match can be that way, and I understand. But for your TNT champion to be another person in a 6-man kind of devalues that championship, in my opinion.
Well, then, so who you got?
I got the good guys. I got Sting. I think Sting must pose on pay-per-views. That seems to be the pattern with AEW.
Yeah. All right. Tag team championships are on the line in a tag team triple threat. This is a tornado triple threat. They're all just going to be in the ring at the same time, right? Is what I gathered.
I think so.
We've got Jurassic Express, the Young Bucks, and Red Dragon. And I feel like Jurassic Express wins this because we're just going to get a bigger blow up between the Young Bucks and Red Dragon, and Jurassic Express is going to get like a sneak victory, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, right? Because the Young Bucks and Red Dragon are going to be like, no, you can't. You can't be the one to pin him. No, you can't be the one to pin him. Well, fuck you, man. And then fight, and then, you know what I mean? Jungle Boy comes in with a schoolboy, and we're out.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I'm not going that way, though. Mm. Now, who I think is going to win is still up in the air. But I think I think it's going to be Red Wagon. I think this is what happens. I think the Young Bucks do the BT trigger on Jungle Boy. He falls to the ground as one of them goes to cover. Then that's when the Red Wagon comes in and does their thing, throws out the Young Buck, and then Red Wagon 1 covers covers Jungle Boy. They're the new champs. Then moving on to whatever the next pay-per-view is or next big, Dynamite event, we're going to get Red Wagon versus Young Bucks 1-on-1. And then I think this is where Christian maybe says Jurassic Express isn't up to their level and he turns on them. Not on Revolution, but Jurassic Express then has to pick themselves up and then get back to the top, and they don't. And then that's when Christian's like, "You're losers. I'm out of here."
You know what I wouldn't hate is Christian heel managing even somebody like a Red Wagon. I know we won't go that route because they're tied up in this whole, parable.
Yeah, but I think
they call it.
Yeah, I think the payoff though with this whole Jurassic Express is 1-on-1. Jungle Boy versus Christian
being the heel managers of the Young Bucks just for a small period of time against even like Jurassic Express could be so much comedy gold. I mean, there's much.
A one night
so
only.
Much.
A one night only would be great. Yeah, because that's how it could be.
My favorite moments in wrestling have been Christian heel promos.
Oh, it's been the best. And that's where I think we're going to get some of the best from Christian in AEW is as a heel.
Oh, with freedom to kind of say what he wants to say, like nobody cares about that karate shit.
Yeah. I think
I'm going to name that the episode that.
I think that would be very interesting because like a one night only, right? So let's say Christian leaves Jurassic Express. You guys aren't up to my level. And then Jurassic Express is like, well, we're going to win the tag team championships without you. We're going to take on the Young Bucks. And then they come out first, and then the Young Bucks come out. They do their pose, then they point to the entrance, and that's when Christian walks out. Oh my God, it's a surprise! And then Christian does his heel shit, and then that would be a fun one night only kind of thing. Yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, that's what I got.
Well,
so I got
him
Red
leading
Wagon.
Private Party as heels would be better than Matt Hardy. You know what I mean? Like
here's okay. Look, Private Party. You were cool at the start. You have a great fun song. You beat the Young Bucks in year 1 of AEW. And since then, you guys have been and 1 and 2 and 3 and flip and 1 and 2 and 3 and ha and ha. I break up. I don't send them to Ring of Honor. Like I'm out.
Like, just there's nothing to bite into. And like we said, we're not a big fan of like the flips and shit just for the flips and shit. And there's a lot of moments in their matches I see where it's like, pause, okay, bend over and wait for me to flip off the top rope while you're bent over in an L shape that you never would be in during the middle of a match. You know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of that with them.
Well, and they're not even cool. Like the Private Party guys are supposed to be ones that I want to hang out with. If you're going to name any tag team Private Party and you can't sit with us because we're the coolest guys in the room, that's Santana and Ortiz. That's the Private Party, right? Put them in suits and say like, you can't fuck with us, you're not sitting with us. 100% believability.
Yeah, you gotta have suaveness and coolness and like a detached from. But yeah, they come out jumping, flying, and being like,
well, they just come out
right.
They're
more Jersey Shore than Private Party.
Oh, I was gonna say they're more fucking Futurama than they are cool guys behind the VIP room. Like, fuck out of here. They're dorks.
So you've got Red Wagon, huh?
I got Red Wagon. That's where I'm going.
Pick. All right.
There you go.
All right, this match. This one's gonna hurt your chest. It's Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley.
Hey, did we get a tweet the table? I think we got a tweet the table about this. Let me check real quick. I think Devil Vamp sent this. 1 second here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get all the ones in.
Right. Yeah. So you go ahead and then I'll read, or do you want me to read it first now?
Yeah, read it.
Okay. So from @DevilVamp, he says, calling it now. Bryan Danielson beats Mox, then uses that to keep him under his thumb for a year or so. After they dominate for a year, Mox turns and finally wins one against Bryan Danielson. # tweet the table. So that is from Table Nation, specifically @DevilVamp. What do you think about that prediction?
Oh yeah, this came in. Oh, this came in just a few hours ago. Nice, Tom.
I know.
Nice. Man, I'm torn on where this goes, right? Yeah, I feel like it works best if they have a sinister, we're kind of evil, right? So we're helping these kids, but we're also exploiting them aspect. And we don't get there with Jon Moxley beating Bryan Danielson, right? Because that would have to humble Bryan Danielson. Unless Moxley gets so brutal that he's like, I get it. I see what you're saying. Let's do this, right? So I'm going to say it's probably it. I'm going to say Danielson wins just because of kind of what Devil Vamp is saying here. But honestly, I could see it either way. You can get wherever you need to out of this because this is just kind of, it's unorthodox to the story we're about to tell.
Very. I got Bryan Danielson because I think this wins over Jon Moxley's like allegiance. Like, okay, you're obviously better than me, so I got to learn from you. So let's join up, right? It's going to be one of those things.
Oh yeah, the whole like I thought I knew violence until this man kicked my face in.
Right. So now we're going to kick everyone else's faces in. I also think from taking a step back and looking at how AEW keeps everyone strong at all times, it feels like, I think Bryan Danielson losing a world championship match to Hangman and then going right into the next feud and losing to Jon Moxley isn't something that they're really keen on. I also think Jon Moxley has other cool things about him, being the GCW heavyweight champion, being in Bloodsport. Like, there's things that still keep him strong outside of AEW, so he can lose in AEW because of that. So that's why I got Bryan Danielson.
Okay. The next one I'm excited, but this could make us look back and be like, oof, that didn't go so well. Jericho versus Kingston.
I totally forgot about this match. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Kingston has to win this.
So I'm going
to pick Kingston because, like, I think that's the story they're trying to tell here. Is Kingston overcomes his fear of success. They may try to tell that story in the match, and that's where I worry, like, this may come off coming a little like, guys, you fucking missed the target on that one. Because Jericho, honestly.
Well, yes, right, because he should have lost the MJF 5 Labors of Jericho, and then he ended up beating MJF, which didn't make any fucking fun sense. I mean, it made sense, but it wasn't fun. I got Eddie Kingston, and I keep telling you, AEW has yet to do, like, a major heel turn. And I know MJF did the thing on Inner Circle, but Inner Circle was kind of heels, and they just got out-heeled by a heel, right? So it wasn't like, oh, hit you in the heartstrings, right? But right now, Inner Circle are baby faces. I know there's some inner turmoil. I think this is the ascension of Eddie Kingston to the top. And if I was wagering a point, I got Santana and Ortiz cost Chris Jericho this match.
I think that's what we got with the whole like fist bump. He's like, oh, he's got your back.
Not us, motherfucker.
Well, here's the thing. You could go without them being heels and a heel turn. You could they come out there and Jericho thinks they were going to turn on him, and he's got fucking, one facial expression Jake Hager there to stop it. And they're like, we weren't out here to fucking attack you, but you thought we were.
Mm-hmm. Or he
you know
just
what I mean?
pushed...
Now we got to do it.
Oh, check this out. This is what we could do for fun. Oh, I'm having fun here. Okay. I'm having fun. Check this out. Follow me for a second. I don't know the match order because this could be the first match of the night. Sure, so who knows, right? But let's say it is the match order that you're saying here, right? So Friday night, Rampage, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara. Darby Allin beats Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship, right? Straight up. The handshake after the match. We go to break, or we go at the end of the show. That's Rampage. New champion, Darby Allin. Yay. Then we do the triple, or the 6-man tag. Sammy Guevara's like, fuck you, Sting. Fuck you, Darby Allin. Nutshot. Matt Hardy and Andrade win because they got to stay strong, right? Because they're the family office people. So then Sammy's now a heel. Fuck the painted face people. Then we go later down into the show, right? Santana and Ortiz come out for this match. Chris Jericho gets a little bit of an ego trip and is like, kick his ass, kick Eddie Kingston's ass. Prove to me your allegiance by kicking this motherfucker in the face. And then Santana and Ortiz are like, no. And so then they turn on him to where we get at the next, again, big Dynamite event, Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz versus the 3 remaining members of Inner Circle, One Face Hager, Sammy Guevara, Chris Jericho. Boom, boom, boom. That's what's happening. Put it down on the last pick. Put it down for this one.
Yeah, I think that's how we get there. Is I think we want to kind of ride this wave that like Kingston is getting some of that everyman crowd love,
and they're everyman tag team.
And they are. The crowd is behind them as well. So like it would be weird. Sometimes you use that against the people and flip, but I don't think they're at that level where we're like, I love everything these guys do, and wait, why'd you do that, right? I don't think we're there. I think we understand they're like flawed human beings that are gritty and a little dark, and so I think you keep them face. And yeah, I think you get the Jericho like either was thinking he was a step ahead of them, and then that insults them. You know, they're like, we weren't going to fucking do that to you. We were just here to make sure neither of you did it to each other, and now you're out here fucking sending Hager, and they put Hager down. They're like, now it's time to fucking, hey, if you're going to call me an asshole, I feel obliged to be one. Time to beat your ass, Jericho. And then they fucking raise Kingston's hand, and he's like, my boys, right? Like, my dogs, right? Yeah.
But I think Chris Jericho saying, prove your allegiance to me is the like, well, fuck Jericho.
Yeah. Well, I think it could even come down to that, right? As they're like sorting all that out, then you go, I mean, I think that's where we're going. I love it. Because again, they like those little layers of storytelling here in AEW, and that's why we like it. All right, this match is going to be interesting. The face of the Revolution ladder match, Keith Lee, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Orange Cassidy, Ethan Page, and Christian Cage.
Wait a minute, Ethan Page?
Yep.
So he wins tomorrow night.
Well, I mean, this is on the match card right here.
I know. So they've ruined it because he has a qualifying match on Rampage. So Ethan Page wins.
How would they? Has it already been taped?
Yeah, they tape it after Dynamite. So, spoiler. That's fun. Man, this could have been cooler though. Look, I like Orange Cassidy. I think Ricky Starks is great. I don't think he should be in Team Taz, but I still like Ricky Starks. But you should have went big meaty men ladder match. It should have just been
Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Christian Cage.
Yeah, and then you add Brian Cage. Then you add 10. I mean, right there, that's your match.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I was saying Christian Cage. I was thinking of Brian Cage when I said that.
Yeah,
because I was talking about the big meaty men slapping meat. Yeah. I mean, for whatever reason, I'm now, because I've seen it, I'm ready to move on past this, and I want to see the Powerhouse Hobbs Keith Lee showdown that we're gonna get. Right, we're gonna get that. Yeah.
So here's the thing, like. This match is interesting because we could go many different ways, right? We could say Keith Lee is here. He's the man. Check him out. He's on a rocket ship to the top. He wins this match. We could also say Wardlow's the fucking man. He ain't losing shit. He's eventually going to beat MJF's ass. This is what gets him there.
We could also say Powerhouse Hobbs is not somebody to be fucked with.
And he's the one that's establishing himself as the big man on campus.
Or Ricky Starks used Powerhouse Hobbs to get there.
Yep. Yeah, either or, right?
Yeah, I feel like the Orange Cassidy, the Ethan Page, and Christian Cage are out of it just for the reasons we've established. Like, I don't think any of those have anything that we're like, we could position them here to get that. Like, Christian Cage, that's going to do nothing for a storyline. Ethan Page, I mean, they already kind of screwed over the whole brass ring thing with...
Right, yeah. I think, but if he wins that and says, hey, Scorpio's guy, like, I'm going to do more with this than you did, that could happen.
Begging for that.
Nah, no. All right, so who are you picking?
Man,
I'm going layup. I'll just tell you. Okay, I don't think Wardlow. I'm going Keith Lee because I think Sean Spears cost.
Yeah, I just thought of that. Yeah, you're probably right. You probably scooped me on that one. It's one of those two. The outside being the Powerhouse Hobbs, like I mentioned, where
or Ricky Starks uses Power Hobbs.
Yeah. But I think it's Lee or Wardlow, and I think you're right. I think Wardlow gets cost because he told him, like, I'm even going to let you keep it if you win the title, right, as we get further.
Well, and then he grabbed the chair from Sean Spears, who, by the way, sidebar here, was
scene.
outstanding, though, the entire night. Because
yeah.
I know we're going to talk about it a little bit, but when MJF turns on Punk and the giddy joy that Shawn Spears had jumping around MJF, who's the fucking devil, made me more scared of Shawn Spears.
Yeah. Oh, the acting of Shawn Spears in the stare down between him and Wardlow was magnificent.
Yeah.
Magnificent. Yeah, we'll talk more about that.
He was great in 2 segments last night. Thought it was outstanding.
Super believable, even though he's acting over the top, which is great.
Yeah, when someone's doing that to another human and you see another human excited about that, I'm more scared of the person who's excited from it.
Yeah.
All
right.
So yeah, I got Keith Lee.
All right.
Because I got Keith Lee. Look, because I got Keith Lee what keeps him busy is Powerhouse Hobbs says, "You didn't beat me. You just climbed up a ladder." And then we get the big meaty men fighting, all having that fun.
God,
that's what I think.
Those
it's gonna be awesome.
Fucking just toss each other around. All right. AEW Women's Championship is on the line. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus Thunder Rosa. And man, I feel like Rosa wins this one.
Yeah, I don't.
Unless we get a continuance.
That's what I think happens.
Okay.
I think we get Britt Baker wins. Hey, Thunder Rosa, you've actually never beat me on paper. And then she goes, well, we're actually 1-1. And then da. And then finally we're going to resolve it in a first ever women's Hell in a Cell or whatever they're going to call it, right? Like, I think it'll be something like that. So I got Britt Baker to continue.
This match is going to go hard though, right?
Yes. However, good Christ, was that tag match so bad on Dynamite?
Yeah, they didn't work that one out well with timing. This is what I'm worried about with the Jericho Kingston match, is that kind of thing. Timing's off, a little sluggish in areas. But
like Mercedes Martinez looked all weird and off, and then Jamie Hayter didn't know where she was sometimes, and Britt that was one of the worst matches I can remember from AEW. It was bad.
How many times does Ross give away the kayfabe on the thing? I know we're like not, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't the place where kayfabe holds dear, but like, he's like, she's a great coach. If she needs to be somewhere, she knows where she needs to be, and she's there. And I'm like, dude, you're like, dude. Like,
well, yeah. And this is a bigger indictment of just society. And so I am guilty of it as well. But can we get past when we compliment a woman, the first thing has to be her appearance? She's beautiful. She's tough. She's smart. She's gritty. We say that about men. Like, stop doing that with women.
We'll mention if a man's handsome, but it's not the first.
Yeah. When Tony Nese walks out, we're like, Jesus Christ, look at this fucking guy. He's a specimen, right? Like, we'll say that. But when CM Punk comes out, right, we don't go, oh, what a handsome man walking to the ring. Yeah. Like, why do we do that with women?
Super
fucking
handsome with that beard. Real handsome.
Yeah, like, cut the and again, JR is just being nice. Like, it's not a JR criticism.
Right, I've never got the feeling he was a creepy dude or anything. Yeah.
No, but it's just a society thing where the first thing that we have to say as a compliment to a woman is her appearance. And it's just like, fucking be better. God damn. Look at me being
2022, god damn it.
Oh.
All right. Man, let's start. This is a little out of order off of their list here, Cultured Vultures, because I just want to set this up better for us. But let's start with the Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole, AEW World Championship on the line. What do you think's happening?
Right there.
Think Hangman?
I got Hangman. If you're watching the YouTube, you're seeing what I'm holding up. It is the Hangman. I got Hangman Adam Page, baby.
Man, I just feel like... So either way doesn't shock me, right? Like Adam Cole wearing their world title after everything he said about it, and what I mentioned with Adam Page feeling like they're just kind of like, oh, this didn't take off as much as we thought. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I could also, Adam Cole loses somehow, and then the Young Bucks and all the other people are all kind of making fun of him, and he fucking snaps, and, you know, tensions arise, and the Red Dragon's already mad at the Young Bucks, and kind of what you mentioned, we get this, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I guess if I had to go out on a limb and, like, points are on the line, I'm going to say Hangman wins, but, man, I won't be shocked either way.
Oh, Look, I would not be stunned in the slightest because this is going to be the main event. Tony Khan said this is going to be the main event, right? Yeah. I would not be shocked if the last visual of this pay-per-view is the Undisputed Era has all the gold and it's Red Wagon and Adam Cole all holding up their titles, and then we get the Young Bucks looking at them like, what the fuck? And then they sympathize with Hangman, they get their fun stuff, and then guess who fucking comes back? It's Kenny Omega, and then we get the Bullet Club versus Undisputed Era, boom, for all the gold. Easy could see that, 1,000,000%. I think, though, Tony Khan's ego, and this is me not knowing him, but just from appearance and seeing him for the times that I have, I think his ego is going to say, like, you think I fucking failed at Hangman as champion? I'm going to, push this down your throat. Hangman's the best. And then we're going to get all the shit. You know what I mean? Because I still think when Kenny Omega left and he's like, hey, I haven't watched the footage back, but I'm going to go rest up. I think that payoff of the Young Bucks letting Hangman get the buckshot lariat on Kenny Omega is going to come back somehow. So a scenario that would not, again, be shocking to me is Red Wagon does come out to help Adam Cole.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks stop that interference. Then Hangman wins and we get this weird handshake kind of agreement that like the Young Bucks and Hangman are cool.
Hey, Young Bucks heel turn has kind of run its course, if you ask me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And so then Kenny Omega comes back in that regard and is like, the hell you two doing?
Well, it could further complicate it. All right. So question I've got, because I'm going to get somewhere with this, is, are we getting a horse? Or is Hangman riding out on a horse?
Where is this pay-per-view? I don't know. Is this Vegas? This is Vegas, isn't it?
Is it?
Because this is the whole week
that information in front of me. Yeah, I think
they're doing the MGM. I'm pretty sure.
You can get a horse out in Vegas, Nevada.
Oh yeah, I just don't
White
know.
Horse.
I'm gonna say no. This is why. I think they save the Hangman stuff, like the horse stuff, for like the monumental.
Well, here's what I would do, because it's just fun, and I would write it this way. Okay. Hangman brings a horse, and we find out Adam Cole, a la Eric Berry, has an irrational fear of horses. And he's like freaked out the whole time, right? He gets near the horse, he's like, God damn it, right? And it's in his head the whole time. And then when he inevitably loses, if we're booking Hangman to win, then all the guys are giving him shit because he's scared of a horse, right? They bring out a horse head and fuck with him and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
March 6th. Oh, from Orlando, Florida. So it's not Vegas.
Total horse territory.
No, I think the horse is saved for
Adam Cole freaked out by a horse.
I mean, that would be great.
He'd pull it off well. He would fucking fall on his ass. He'd be rolling all over the place, scared of the horse, right?
Yeah, and that would make sense, right? Like just adding one thing to the Adam Cole weirdness, because again, he was killed on BTE. You know what I mean, from an energy drink. So yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all.
Scared of a horse. All right, the last match I want to talk about, and I can't wait for this. It's the dog collar match. CM Punk, MJF. And MJF has to win this. God damn it, he has to win this.
No.
Oh, my God. Oh.
No.
I think he wins it, but Wardlow somehow. He has to rely on Wardlow, and that's where we go after that. Because we're really coming to a head with that Wardlow thing. And I feel like MJF finally bragging when it was clearly Wardlow who had to do it.
But that's the thing. Well, and then MJF loses, right? But then MJF loses. So you're saying, who'd you pick?
No, MJF. Wardlow has to help MJF to win this match, or does, right?
Oh, no.
And it's clear. And then MJF is bragging left and right. Maybe even MJF wasn't necessarily aware, right? Like he was knocked out. And MJF had to drag him over or whatever, right? And then Wardlow's like, all right, dude, it's fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, shut the fuck up once in a while.
Yes, but no. Yes, but no. Because this is where where MJF gets to a spot and is like, Wardlow, fucking give him the power bomb. And then Wardlow's like, you know who's getting the power bomb? You are. And then power bombs him. Then on Dynamite,
the
we're
other
gonna
route.
get right, and then
Punk
on Dynamite,
wins.
Punk wins and then
okay.
moves on. And then on Dynamite, the following week, MJF is like, Wardlow, get out here. I'm firing your ass. And he walks out and, they do a face-to-face. And then Wardlow from his back pocket pulls up an AEW contract and is like, I don't work for you anymore. And also, we got a match.
Power bomb.
Boom, power bomb.
Power bomb Spears, power bombs everybody.
Yep.
So you're saying Punk wins?
I got Punk. He can't lose 3 times to MJF. He lost twice in Chicago. He's not losing again. Nah. I mean, but maybe.
It's going to be great. Oh, God, I'm going to love it. The storytelling is going to be crazy with it.
How crazy was the segment on Dynamite?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's up right here behind us. We had to know MJF was a snake in the grass the whole time, right? And Punk even said it. He's like, I don't believe MJF's lying that these things happened to him, but I can't help shake the feeling that I'm being gaslit. And surprise, you were gaslit.
Yep. Yeah, the only thing, again, it's just too many dick kicks right now in wrestling. We need to switch that up a little bit. But it was, other than that, chef's kiss. It was great. Also, I loved how both of them wore white. I thought that was a nice touch. You know what I mean? To show the blood really as contrast to what they were wearing. The only thing
I think it also led to this idea of we don't know who the good guy is.
Yes.
See, and even when he takes off his jacket, then he's got red on underneath it. Right now, he's the devil. Right. I loved it all. Loved it all.
The only thing where I think I would have maybe shortened it up just a little bit is Punk was doing a little bit too much of I even wrote it on our Twitter at Table Show. It felt like CM Punk was the ghost of Christmas future to MJF, where it was like, and then if you don't correct your ways, you're gonna. It's like, hey man, can you just say stop being a prick? There was other ways to say
it. I did this thing you're doing. Let me tell you, it ain't what it is. You know what I mean? It ain't what you think it is.
And sometimes
give yourself a heart attack before you fucking, that kind of shit, right?
But Punk in this new AEW babyface run is doing too many nursery rhyme stuff. I like to give them their flowers while they're here. And then he said some stupid line in this one where something about hate. I can't remember the stupid one-liner, but I remember thinking hey, Tony Robbins, cut the shit a little bit and say some real shit. Stop. I don't know. I'll have to look it up what he said exactly, but yeah, it felt like he's fucking giving me all these Zig Ziglar fucking things the entire time. I'm look, man, my life's not bad.
I don't need to solve a riddle to figure out what you're talking about, asshole.
Yeah, and I also don't need life advice to get me to tomorrow. I'm fine, okay? You're the type of guy that watches a fucking inspirational video every morning? Are you that guy now? Are you saying my favorite 10 books are all self-help? Who needs that much fucking self-help? God damn. Read one fucking book and move on.
Non-self-help. You should see a therapist.
Yeah. I can't remember that stupid one-liner. I'll think of it later when we're not recording, which will be great.
Yeah, of course. But man, I'm stoked for this revolution, man. I can't wait. Literally, other than that 6-man tag, there's not a match that I'm I want to maybe do something else. I'm almost going to be upset that I'm going to live tweet during it, because that means I'm going to have to look down while I should be watching the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Up in front of the
or just talk to tech, this is so great.
You should just live stream and
I might
put yourself up on a live TikTok or something, or Twitter, and just go live and talk through it.
Check out the social medias. You might see it. Who knows?
Maybe you'll do a Spaces and go live during the commercials.
Do a Spaces.
Commercials. There's
do
no commercials.
A Spotify Green Room. Whatever. Yeah, all of it. Any surprises? You got any surprises? You got any Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson debut kind of moments on this Revolution pay-per-view?
Well, so there's always the Cody Rhodes thought process, right?
And also now
something.
And also now there could just be this Ring of Honor takeover. We have also all but seemingly forgot about Bray Wyatt as a thing that exists,
right?
Oh,
the Wyndham
yeah.
character, which feels fitting that he will debut when you are not expecting him to.
If if Hangman beats Adam Cole and then goes like, I'm a cowboy, and the lights go off and it's Bray Wyatt, and now we've got
some kind of
Hangman,
weird fucking new iteration of that. Yeah.
And Hangman has to deal with like the self-confidence issues of going up against a psycho. That might be fun.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of psychos, before we get out of here, one other segment I wanted to talk about. This promo, because I think you have it. Let me check the YouTube here. You have it as our background for, I think, the individual shots.
Yes. Here, I'll put you on right now. It's got Malachi, the House of Black promo. Yeah.
Is it right here? If I'm here?
Yep.
Okay. It sucked. It was so bad. What kind of nursery rhyme is like?
Yeah, that's the thing is I like this group.
I love
some aspects, but
the finish our sentences thing where, hey, Tim, when we go into the darkness, we become better men.
Yeah.
And when men fight, it's like, fucking, who talks like that shit?
Is, like, that's it. It's that nobody talks like that. I know you're supposed to be dark and mysterious, and you're supposed to leave us like wondering, like, oh shit, what are they saying here? But this is like, I would need to rewind it and watch it back, and like you're missing out on some of the. Well, as weird as it sounds, they'll say this like you got to dumb it down sometimes, right?
Oh, I think you just got to do it. But how dumb is it? Think of this, right? We're all spooky. What they did is one guy stood here, then another guy stood next to him, and then another guy stood next to him. But then the other guy stepped back, and then the other guy stepped.
Well, let's talk about that, right?
Dorks.
So let's talk about that, right? That's the thing is like you're spooky, but to pull off what you just did means you guys choreographed this and you practiced it. And now you are at dance practice. So are you spooky?
Yeah.
Or are you practicing dance?
You're just goth Dance Revolution right now.
Right. Right. You worked up really hard what you were going to say to your dad after he grounded you.
Yeah. Right? But the finishing of sentences, and I don't like, I like the message, right? Because they're like, hey, you should like what we did for you because Pac, now you can see, and Penta, you are now a new man, and all that stuff. But like the presentation, and then again, you just breaking kayfabe for a second, you just go like, they just took 2 steps back. That's all they did. Can you turn on a light? Like, that's all you need to do. Like, why are they in an actual house? Why aren't we knocking on the fucking door, opening up the door, seeing all the spooky shit, and then they're sitting in like
why wasn't this a conversation
something
amongst themselves that we were overseeing, like sitting at the spooky table or in the graveyard or whatever, right? Like, why isn't Malachi telling them like everything they said? He's telling them as like a motivation speech, right? Yeah,
it's like tarot cards, and they flip it, and they're like, "Oh, Pac, remember when we gave him vision?" Or you know what I mean, something like that. But the way they did it, I was just like, dorks.
Because that makes it more believable and realistic, right? Because here's what I don't believe is these guys, one guy who's got a weird black eye, and they're in the weird mysterious dark arts, aren't doing fucking dance practice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, those 2 guys are like, all right, well, then let's practice. So when I say this, that's when you're going to come in here. The illusion of everything you've been trying to do is gone.
Exactly.
Because you're not psychotic now. It's all planned out, and you're playing a role. You're acting.
Yeah, and it's silly. And it's also silly. It's not even scary. It's just...
Right.
You could just literally...
I know we're watching this theater, but like now I believe the characters are performing in a theater.
Yeah, you could just yell, "Hey, buddy, come back. Like, take a step back. I can see you again."
Yeah, if
like,
I pulled up my phone and turned on the flash.
Right.
Like, I gotcha.
Exactly. Whoa, what are you looking at? You know?
Don't look at me now.
You're supposed to be scared. Yeah, like that's how it felt.
Yeah, I love it.
But I'm excited because I think maybe something, the whole reason I asked you the whole question, I think something with that storyline happens at the Revolution pay-per-view to remember, hey, motherfuckers, this is still something happening in the promotion. I think maybe this is where Malachi Black tries to do like a promo segment in the ring, and they do that stuff, and we get the return of Ray Phoenix. That's what I was thinking, is Ray Phoenix then comes in, and then at the Dynamite or whatever it is, it's a 6-man tag with Death Triangle and House of Black. That's
all right. Well, unless you got anything else, man, we can call it on this one because we're super excited, man. I can't wait to see.
Oh, my God, I cannot wait.
Can't wait to see Revolution.
Wait.
And just so you're all aware, until we meet next time, it's important for you to remember. Nobody cares about that karate shit.
The Spanish announce table.